Right, to London we go. Dear leader, Sean Plunket is joining us from... Now, my notes say the Alliance for Responsible Drinking, but that can't be the case. It must be the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship.
No, right. In fact, I'm meant to be at a cocktail party now, Duncan.
I won't
and
hold
I
you
will
up,
go
brother.
there after this cross.
Yeah, how's it going?
Look, it's good. It's the Association for Responsible Citizenship Conference. It has 4,000 delegates from all over the world. And I think it would be fair to say this is like a rah-rah rally for conservatism, probably Christian conservatism all over the globe. For example, this morning, one of the first speakers up was Kerry Badendock, the new leader of the Conservative Party in Britain, who called for the next generation of Brits to reject the hatred of the history of Britain, to practice a new sort of nationalism that is proud of British history. She's interesting. She's a woman of colour who was born in Britain and grew up in Nigeria. And she said fundamental principles of the value of the family, freedom of speech, pride in your heritage and pride in your history will turn the corner for a Britain she feels in decline. We then heard from the US Speaker of the House of Representatives, the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. He reiterated the return of conservative Christian values around the globe and a move away from diversity, equality, and inclusion. And for that, Duncan, read wokeism. And also we heard from the Secretary of Energy in the US, Chris Wright, this afternoon, calling for common sense in energy policy. And he had a crack at Britain. He said their net zero policies weren't about the climate. They were actually a new tool to grow government control. All the delegates here I've spoken to say that they believe Trump has provided the impetus for a new wave of politics, which is the end of wokeism. And I'll tell you what, Duncan, I don't think that Chris Luxon would be comfortable here.
Now, I was going to bring it up with you, Sean. I reckon you're right. Trump has kicked this off. There's no doubt that he's empowered people, he's empowered countries, empowered the delegates to have a backbone and to stand up for what they believe in. So you've seen the return and the rise of this, which is a good thing in my view. But Luxon hasn't picked up on it. I can't believe that he hasn't sniffed the mood. He hasn't. Seymour has. Shane Jones has.
It's hilarious. The New Zealanders I've talked to here and other people, I think conservative, centrist politicians around the world know this is their time, that they've got the wind at their back. And I look at Luxon's comments yesterday, and I've been following stuff in New Zealand. Diversity is a strength. What did I say the other day? He's a John Key tribute band with a Jacinda Ardern playlist. And look, Doug, I'm not having a go at you because when I get someone to come on the platform, I let them say what they want to say. We're about freedom of speech, and you're in our views don't align. I think what has got a lot of people mad about the drag queen thing, and I would agree with you, violence in a protest, not on. Posey Parker didn't use a public building, and that guy who describes himself as a super slut or something, he's got $1.1 million from New Zealand on here to make a series of television programs for children. Now, that's my money, mate. That's your money.
It's ridiculous.
And a lot of people thought
why would you take your kids there?
When they voted
why would you take your kids there?
Because you want to be woke and you believe and you're a narcissistic idiot. That's why. But equally, if, so I'm saying that is, in a strange way, that very microscopic issue in New Zealand is the issue that most of the delegates at this conference are into. I've got to admit there's a little more religion in here that I'm comfortable with. And Jordan Peterson gave an opening speech where it was like he was martyring himself on the bloody cross, and everyone sort of clapped politely, but I thought he was completely nuts.
Oh, really? Why?
So there's an undercurrent, because it's all about what the Bible said and Christian.
Oh, no.
Basically, yeah, well, look, it's saying that the principles that should guide our modern democracies are ones of sacrifice, ones of traditional family. So it's a conservative conference. I just thought he laid on the religion thing a bit heavy, and to be honest, he didn't look that well, though he got, I think, a standing ovation.
Yeah, he's got a brilliant mind. No matter what you think of him in terms of the Christianity and bringing the Bible into it, he is. I've seen him just absolutely slice people in half. A smart ass journalists come along and think they can tip him up, and he just deals to them. Luxon would be entirely
I'm talking to you. He's going to be at the drinks do I'm going to.
Oh, right.
So I'm going to go to a cocktail party and hopefully catch up with him again. I've met him a couple of times. But I'll tell you what, the other thing that strikes me, and I hear in our news headlines, people are talking about the Ukraine and the Americans. Here in Britain, that is causing, it's very close to it in Europe. And it's across the news here, it's in the newspapers here, are the Americans cutting Europe out? And, I think they clearly are. So that's a real point of discussion as well. Well done, yeah.
Your piece,
it's great to be a New Zealander.
Yeah, I bet it is, mate. Your deconstruction of the Prime Minister, I went back and listened to your piece the other day. Brilliant. It's done huge numbers online. I've held similar views, for some time and said a bit about this yesterday. It was just brutal, but honest. And the great thing is we can do this. It's honest, mate. It's honest.
Yeah. I don't have any personal animosity towards Chris Luxon, but just over a year. And I think what people are looking at with Trump is in just a couple of weeks, he's moved the world. Now, Seymour made some great points in his interview with you. Look, we've got rid of three waters. We're changing the RMA. Yeah, you have. But there was another reason you got voted in, and that was the culture wars. And the conference I'm at is about the culture wars. And Luxon again this week says, I'm all for diversity, and he fails to deliver. And I think that, can I just say this? I've talked to some people inside National, and people have been around politics a long time. And they have said to me, it is over. And suddenly, sometimes with politicians, they're just not there anymore. And I think Luxon is not there. I didn't have one member of the cabinet, any of my contacts in the National Party ring me up and tell me I was wrong or defend him.
Yeah, no. Now, in the past, if we'd done something like that, guys like you and I, we would have had calls from Mike Munro's or the Richard Griffins or, hey, Bolger's not happy with you. Yeah. You would have had a phone call, and you would have had maybe more than one.
Yeah, but no, nothing. So, I don't know. People are talking about the alternatives. That's up to the National Party. And I tell you what, I'm here for a couple of days at this conference, but there is a wind blowing in the world of politics, and New Zealand might just miss it.
Can I tell you? Yeah, I agree with you. I wonder if they have missed that boat, and there are others within the government, individuals who have picked up on it. But have you heard of Takuta Ferris as an MP? Have you heard of this guy, Takuta Ferris? Yeah. An arrogant, despicable racist who refuses to apologise in English because he says Māori language is more important. Now, Shane Jones did this brilliant takedown of him in Parliament last week. We ran a bit of it on your show yesterday.
That's right.
But this is an example of where a guy is just so out of touch with everyday New Zealanders and what they're thinking. They find these sort of people vile, arrogant, and racist. He's the guy that just chewed and picked his nose while Peter Williams gave his submission on the Treaty Principles Bill. I find these guys, why are we paying them taxpayer dollars? I struggle to accept it.
Well, they get elected. Everyone's allowed to get elected, but I'd say there are a whole lot of other people we're paying taxpayers' dollars to who have got political agendas, and we don't want them to be political. I'm really interested in this thing in the next couple of days. They're talking about what's called the Anglosphere, which is like the Commonwealth, but a connection of countries that have similar views. I'm going to a dinner on that, and I'm going to a great session tomorrow night. What is a man? What is a woman? It's one of the sessions at this conference.
If anyone ever asks you what a woman is, if anyone asks you what a woman is, you just say, "Well, my mother."
My mum. But I've been wearing my red platform Make Media Great Again hat. And I am now known as the guy with the MAGA hat at the conference. I got interviewed by the Financial Times today, who came up to me purely on the strength of my hat. And we're probably going to get quite a lot of overseas orders because I've been getting people to download the platform. It's been hilarious.
Yeah. Did you take a box of them over to sell for to help fund us, or what have you done?
No, stupid old me. I'm ringing our merch people. We've got to get some more made. But also, it has been nice talking to particularly a couple of young people who've come up and introduced. I met a young guy from Portugal today who's basically trying to build a platform in Portugal. He started 6 months ago. I had to talk with him, having exactly the same problems I did. So I gave him some pointers, and I said, if you need a hand, get in touch. He said, we've got state-controlled media. They won't present alternate views. I'm doing it now with a blog and everything. And I said, oh, you get hold of me, I'll tell you how to do it reasonably cheaply. So it's good fun.
You said it's now is that time for the conservative politics. I'd also say for conservative media, you've done the hard work with platform. You've done the 2 or 3 years of the hard graft of setting it up and everything. It should be the platform's time too, because of where it sits in the spectrum. It should be. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And look, just one other thing I wanted to address on that, and I'd asked other people not to. We've had a little bit of online niggle with a bunch of trolls having a crack at one of our advertisers and some of their clients. A classic piece of cancel culture.
Yeah.
And I just want to, and I don't want us to go into huge details on this, but I just want to say to that advertiser and the people associated with us, thank you for sticking with us, and thanks for standing up to the bullies. And what I say to the bullies is, the lawyers are on the case, and we will come for you because we're not going to put up with it.
Yeah, you got to draw a line in the sand. You can't go soft on this stuff. You got to nail it and knock it out pretty early, I reckon. It's just there's no place for that, Sean.
All right. Now tomorrow, can we do this a little bit earlier? Because I've got
because you want to go drinking
session tomorrow night.
Yes.
No, because I need to go to a night session of this thing.
Okay. Yeah, you've half convinced me. But yes, we'll come to you off the top.
To the office up. All right.
We've managed to get in. Yeah, but we got in before 7 today, which was good. Hey, Sean, are there any New Zealand politicians or New Zealand representatives there apart from yourself?
Well, it's not a national thing. It's just a group of people. So who have I seen here? Jonathan Ayling from the Free Speech Union.
Yep,
is here, and the Free Speech Union of Britain are here. Bob McCroskey from Family First, that well-known Nazi. So Bob's here. His offsider, former Northland MP, Simon.
Simon.
God, that's terrible of me not.
Not O'Connor. O'Connor, no. Is it O'Connor? Because he's very conservative. He's Tamaki. Yeah, national from Tamaki.
Yeah. So Simon O'Connor's here. There's Sky News is, and journalism-wise, there's a few Australian reporters here. Sky News is here. And I think altogether from Australia and New Zealand, 300 people. I'll tell you what, I couldn't have got here without the help of all the platform people who donated through Project Churchill. And I'm really grateful for them. I'll be writing a letter for them and a little update in the next 15 hours. They'll get something a little bit just for them for helping me get here. But otherwise,
we appreciate this. And
the other thing, Duncan, London is not awash with Muslim gangs knifing and raping people. It's not, my social media feed suggests to me that London's full of people being arrested for writing stuff on Facebook, and
it's not. I will check in with you. I'll ring you to make sure you're back in your room nice and early tonight, your time. So expect a call in a couple of hours. Okay, I'll just keep an eye on you. Okay, Sean, have a good night and all the best. Chat tomorrow. Yep, good man. Sean, out of London, and God, that sounds fascinating though. And this movement, I think it is a movement too. It's a regaining of ourselves in many ways. And proud to be Anglo-Saxon, proud to be conservative, proud to have these views. And for so long, you were sneered at. For for having a different point of view.